Hello, we're live. Now, we've got a very special guest tonight. We've got Warren Towney from Dubbo. But before we introduce him, I don't know where CJ is. Warren thinks he mightn't have paid his internet bill. So we're just waiting for CJ. But anyway, we're going to just acknowledge country. So I just want to acknowledge the traditional country that we all meet, work and play on. Pay the utmost respect to all our elders, past, present, and any emerging elders as well, and welcome everyone in that's here to have a listen to Warren tonight. So, there he is. We've got the young fella coming in now. Here he comes.
How good's that?
Good afternoon, CJ.
Hi,
Good
brother.
afternoon. Hey, g'day, Warren. How are you, brother?
Yeah, good, brother. Yourself?
Before we go any further, Warren reckons you didn't pay your internet bill. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi, but I'm had to take myself off Wi-Fi to get a connection. It's bloody crazy. Yeah, but anyway, it's all good. I'm here.
Yeah, here, brother. Well, yeah. So, look, we've just had an acknowledgement to country, so we're just about to introduce Warren. So, Warren Towney from Dubbo, tell us a little bit about your backstory, brother.
Yeah, I'm a 47-year-old proud Wiradjuri man. I live in Dubbo. I still walk, live, and breathe the country that I originate from, the Wiradjuri Nation. I don't stem from Dubbo. I've been here 28 years. I stem from a little town just south of here called Peagill. It's a small, close-knit community, people of about 800. Well close, all family connected. And yeah, basically it, brother. I've been here for a while. I've had a few journeys in my life, and none better than the one I'm on now. So yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, brother.
Yeah, I for a long time, and it's sad. My story is familiar with a lot of people in our culture, and I suffered addiction, and my addiction was alcohol, and with that, it brought a lot of temperaments, mood swings, a lot of nastiness. Where I thought it was good, comforting, and all that, it was totally the opposite, and it took me a long time to realise that. It took me to breaking point Christmas Day when I realised I was homeless. I had no family. I had no friends. I had no one to reach out to. And I knew I needed help. I couldn't go back to the homeless centre I was staying at the time. And if I went back there and my thought process on that day, I wouldn't have seen another Christmas. I'll put it that way. It was a sad day. But in saying that, it's probably the best day of my life because it was the day I reached out and reached for help. I found the help through the Glen Centre down on the Central Coast, a Koori cultural-based centre, and with their guidance, it's given me a new lease of life, and I'm happy here today to be still talking about about who I was and who I am today. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, brother.
Amazing, mate. Unbelievable, Warren. Yeah, I mean that's. Brother, I'm so proud of you. I know you're more pretty proud of you that all them were anyway. Yeah. I know that, mate.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, no, you've done really good, mate. And tell me about the Glen Centre. Why was that kind of like the place you had wanted to go? I knew you said it was something to do with being Aboriginal run or
yeah, and like it's Aboriginal based, but that don't mean you've got to be Koori to get in there. They accept anyone with addiction. And addiction of all types. The Glen Centre to me, when I walked in them gates, I was thinking I'm going to be the only alcoholic fella here. It's going to be all young fellas who's on ice and other addictions. And I was very, very windy walking in there, very, very scared. I didn't know what to expect. So I sat there on the first day and I waited for them to finish group. And I was still didn't know what to make. There's going to be people that's in and out of jail that's coming in and trying to trying to fix themselves. But after that group, the first thing they did was come up to me, shook my hand, and said, "Welcome, brother. You're in the right spot. You'll get better if you want it."
Yeah.
And it was like a parachute. Your mind's got to be open to it. If your mind's not open, a parachute, it's like a parachute. If it don't open, it don't work. And so I was willing to accept whatever they was going to give me. And we got a saying in there: take the cotton wool out of your ears and put it in your mouth, and shut up and listen, man. And that's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, no, excellent, brother. Yeah, I mean, mate, this story, I've been waiting to hear your story because I'd come down to Dubbo quite a bit, and over the years, and up with you, and with those men's health day forums and stuff, and you're always there, brother. And I think that even though that all happened, you had to make that decision yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, and they were good. Like I could take it back to them days. Probably about 5 years ago, was it, Charles, when that happened?
Yeah.
The planted the seed in me, and I knew something had to be done. Like I wasn't getting any younger, and my alcoholism was just getting worse. But it's hard. It was real hard to stop any addiction. And down there, like down the Glen, they connected me with my higher power because I couldn't do it by myself. I can't do this by myself, and when we talk about higher power, like today, I can walk past a pub with $200 in my pocket by myself, but I couldn't do it back then. It's a funny thing. The power I get from the rooms, that power in itself, like life's going to be full of challenges. Life's not perfect, but I can make the right choices today. Yeah.
And I think too, brother. I mean, congratulations on that too. You said to me before, you've been 6 months clean now.
Yeah, clean sober. Yeah.
And it's a wonderful achievement, brother. I mean, seriously, like I just love your mentality, love your positivity.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, fantastic, brother. I mean, congratulations, and it gives hope to people. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Look, we do a fair bit of work all around the country, and fellas are always saying to us about some of their addictions and those sort of things. And what you just said then about you can't do it on your own. We all need that support. We all need that, from someone, and it might not be from the close family, but it might be from someone, in the outer circle or whatever. So we all need that support. So well done, brother. I mean,
yeah. Cheers,
yeah.
Most certainly, you gotta be willing. You gotta surrender and be willing to accept any changes, and that's what I certainly did. Got reconnected with my higher power, but it also reconnected my inner spirit. I found my spirit again. And I live life today as Warren Towney, who was meant to be Warren Towney, and not a facade of an alcoholic that's been living it for the last 40 years or so. Yeah.
It's beautiful, brother. And sorry, I'm just fascinated, brother, and I just love your story and love what I'm hearing here. And the thing that you just said then before about acceptance, we really do have to accept some of these things in our life, don't we? And some people in our lives as well. And that might be, around accepting that that's the best that they're going to be.
And it's not going to be easy, you got to do a lot of changes in your life. But if you can just surrender that moment and put your hand up and say, "I need help," then you've done the biggest step of all in your life, and you're on the first step of recovery. And that's where it all starts. Yeah.
I know, mate. It's kind of like your story. It's amazing. I know it's fantastic. And you talked about young fellas in there may have some problem with drugs and all that. But I'll tell you what, there's probably fellas out there, or even people, doesn't matter whether you're male or female, who are struggling with an addiction that isn't drug related or alcohol related. Okay, So they're struggling themselves in terms of, you know, who they are because of some, I don't know, maybe it might be anger, you know, it might be stuff like that. And obviously, like you've said, and your message is pretty clear, is you need to ask for help.
Yeah,
When you know
yeah.
you're not, you know there's something wrong, but you're not sure what it is. You know what I
And,
mean? Yeah.
and
So
and a lot of the stories, you know, that we do tell is you'll hear your story being told. I zoomed in on a meeting just the other day, and I was talking to people in Canada, First Nations people in Canada, and alcoholism in there, and it's just so similar to our stories, and it's beautiful though. People from across the country are telling your story. You
yeah,
know, the same thing, and 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 as you say, like with people that are suffering addiction and other, and that's where it all stems from, where the mentality, it's like something could have, like they could have low self-esteem and put behind the eight ball as a and being branded a name that's so derogatory that they haven't got a chance, you know, and then being bullied and all that, and it's just easier to cope with all that through substance abuse, and
yeah,
that was kind of my story. I was born with a muscular dystrophy, and it put me way behind early in childhood, where my brothers and cousins, they succeeded in football. I loved watching them, and they were my idols. They were my I wanted to be like them, and I tried to be like them, and in many ways I was, but I just couldn't get to that level
yeah,
where they kept progressing, and I was just keep slowing back. And then from earlier on, because of that, I got branded in the dumb class at school, as so to speak, you know, and it was just all these little things just played effect in my life as I got older, and then for some reason or another, and this is a beautiful town where I come from. You're born with a nickname. You are born with a nickname, and I was a poor bugger that got nicknamed Alco, and it was funny all that time growing up and all that, but I didn't know till I went down to the Glen that was the start of the put down that I had all my life. Um, and it would and I didn't really till I started connecting the dots, you know, that with all that going on, I finally found acceptance in the bottle as I got older. And when that nectar of the gods hit my lips, I didn't care who was calling me what or whatever. I was accepted, and that's when I was on a grand jewel moment. You know, I couldn't guarantee my actions, but I didn't care, and that was a sad part. But yeah, that was life in addiction for me. Yeah.
man, that's you know, that's yeah, you know, and like you say at the beginning there, you know, Warren Towney, this is who you're supposed to be, and not that other person, you know. And
Exactly. Yeah.
sometimes I think those, you know, sometimes you start to. I'm not telling you, but it's for me. You start to believe the things that people tell you who you are.
Exactly, yeah, brother. Yeah, and I had that. I wish they could have nicknamed me movie star or something, but they nicknamed me Alka, you know. But it was just, and to be honest, I probably got one of the good ones where I come from. There's a lot more worse than that, but
Yeah,
I won't mention them. But yeah, you know, you do you fall into what they call you, and it's sad.
Yeah,
It really is.
but that is true though, brother. What CJ's saying, you know, like if we get told enough times or called that name enough times, you start to doubt yourself. That
Exactly.
doubt starts to come in.
You
The,
know.
the doubting of where we belong, where we fit into our mobs or our towns or whatever, and you know, it plays havoc with our identities, doesn't it? So,
It's true, brother. Like I had school teachers calling me that when I was in school. You know, I had my own office at school, and I thought this was flash. You know, I got my own office, but I realised now they just didn't want me in the class. I couldn't keep up. You
yeah,
know, I thought it was neat, but yeah,
And to be honest, you said like you know you're 47 years old. It's not that long ago that we're talking about that you're at school. You know, so
No, it's.
it's
But I tried
pretty
to.
sad state of affairs, eh?
I tried to mend it a lot over the years. I can tell you that much. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is. And tell me, brother, are you happy? That's the main thing.
Man, I live in for the fellowship of AA, and that program makes me humble, happy. It's not all roses and chocolates and all that. You know, you're going to have challenges in life, but it's how you deal with them, and the choices you make in life. Like choices I make, it still evolves around alcohol, because I just didn't say no on that day. I've got to say no about 100 times a day. You know, it's there in my face. It's everywhere I go. It's in the communities that I go home to. It's all my cousins.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. But I don't. I say no because I know what's right now. You know, I know where I'm going to go if I bend my elbow.
Yeah.
Man, I got a saying. You know, like. You heard that saying, you know, they're the good old days, but the reason why they're good is because they're gone. But they won't be good if I fall back. You know, them good old days won't be there. They'll be messy. You know, and I'm glad they're gone. I really am. I really am glad they're gone.
Has there been much temptation, brother, or?
Brother, I tested myself on the weekend. I was having a downer, and I reached into my bag of tools, and I knew it was the wrong thing to do. And I tested myself. My brother's got a pub in Wellington, and I said, Tess, I'll go out over there. I'll see. We're going to have a tea with him, and I'll see where it gets me. And the moment I stepped in the pub, I knew I didn't want it.
Oh,
As much as my life was in a misery at that time, I rang up my sponsor, and he guided me, and then I did a bit of meditating and all that, and that helped me. Yeah.
Oh, that's good, bro. Well done again. So
yeah, thanks, brother.
Yeah. Now listen, fellas, we've got a few people we need to say good day to. First up's Jan Hogan. She's our person that's on every week watching, and she says hello. But Jan's actually from Wales, over in the UK.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I heard that in the interview the other day you was doing. Yeah.
Good morning, Jan. How are you?
Yeah, so it's morning for Jan, so it's about 7:30 over there. Yeah, so well done. We've got Lyndon Riley watching. Lyndon's up in Cairns. G'day, brother. We've got Norma Jean watching. Norma's in Darwin. G'day, Norma. We've got Eddie Bully watching, who we had on last week, I think. He's up in Cairns as well. Who else we got? We've got Rhonda Gouchy watching. Rhonda's down in Melbourne, I think. G'day, Rhonda. We've got Marilyn James. Hi, lads. Good to hear you all. G'day, Marilyn. We've got Kim Carter. What a lovely man you are, Warren. Thank you for telling your story.
Thank you, Kim.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I feel the love.
And Marilyn said, sadly, addictions of many types cause a lot of havoc in our lives. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Warren.
Yeah, thank you.
We've got Zane Zane's down in Canberra. G'day, Zane. So you were complaining about the weather down there in Dubbo before, Warren. So
I used to live in Canberra, and it's very similar at the moment, mate.
Okay, all right. I think you might have you covered though.
Yeah.
And I think Zane's a Storm supporter, so he'd be happy living in Canberra.
Oh, mate. And you know what? I'm a Raiders supporter, so
I won't hold that against you, brother.
love you, Zane, but yeah.
I follow the Storm too, brother. So
yeah.
And Jan Hogan said, unfortunately, alcohol is such a big part of our culture. Even when you say you don't drink, people push you to have just one. Many people don't understand addiction.
Yeah, and I had that happen to me Saturday night. I had a good mate of mine. He said, "You can just have one, two. You know, we'll go home." And I said, no, brother, I don't want one. He just couldn't understand, and he said, but you can just tone it down a bit from what you used to be. I said, I don't want one at all. I said, I'll tell you what, you can get a ginger beer. I'll have a beer with you. Yeah, I'll just get a ginger beer. I'll share that with you instead. And he was happy with that.
Hey, brother, can I just say how much strength that shows that you have, and how much resilience that shows that you have? I mean, that's I know you went there to test yourself, but mate, you come through with flying colours, eh? So
yeah, and a lot of it, like because of the positivity tools that they give me down there, and how to manage sobriety, that was the big help. You know, it was a big help. And any other time when moment of weakness, oh mate, we wouldn't have been having this chat today. I can guarantee you. I could have been locked up. I could have been still, you know, drunk or whatever. So, yeah.
Now, brother, how has COVID-19, has it affected you in any way with the
mate? I see a lot of good in it. To be real, I think it's waking a lot of people up. I think the earth is healing because of it. You know, you see the dolphins swimming in Venice and in the streams in Venice, in the canals, and you can see Everest, and you know, the world's breathing again. And it quickened the line up at Centrelink, and you're not waiting in the doctor's surgery for 4 hours. So, and it brings a lot of good out in people. You know, it really does. And people tend to care a lot more.
And it's taught us, well, not taught us, but it's reminded us that we need to wash our hands, which is something basic, and sneeze and cough into our elbows, which is basic again, and these sort of things, you know. So CJ and I talk a lot about that, don't we, CJ? So
that's good. We haven't had a real issue with it out here, but they do know the protocols and all that, and they adopted that pretty good. So
I think it's also got us back to basics, you know. Like Abby saying that, and it's also got us having a yarn. We now, you know, can sit down and
mate. Like I said, like I can do Zoom meetings. I can do a meeting laying in bed. You know, it's mad.
I don't know,
brother. Yeah, but when you're down, like I can get on and I can click on a meeting anywhere in the world at any time. And that lifts me. I get strength from doing an AA meeting. So I really think that I never heard of Zoom before it, and I certainly won't get rid of it because it's really benefited me. Yeah,
no, it's good. I've been doing a bit of I watch a lot of TED talks, you know, and I'm interested in things they're doing, you know, and it's I think it's you know, for me, it's helping me understand a little bit more about how to do things and how to think about things and keeping your mind open, you know.
Yeah, exactly, brother. Exactly, yeah.
But it's you know, it's really good, and I think you can look at it from the negative side, I suppose, and you know, you know, and think everything's going terrible, going to shit, but or you can take an opportunity to take a breath, have a think about where you are, what you're doing, and like you, Warren, you know, that's what you're doing. You're thinking about where you are and what you're doing, I suppose, and like a lot of us need to do that as well, you know.
It does. It gives you a lot of soul searching, I think, Charlie. You know, it gives you time to yourself, gives you a lot of soul searching and what you want to do, and I think that's the way I take it anyway. Yeah, that's the way I like to look at things as glass half full now, you know, and then
and that's the way. I mean, like you come across as a really positive fellow, brother, you know. So I reckon good on you and keep it up, you know. So
thank you, brothers.
And that's the thing that, you know, like probably well, not the only negative. I mean, because there's plenty of people that have, you know, passed away due to COVID-19 and that sort of stuff. But we do have to, you know, like we say a lot, you know, like it's not as bad for us that have got partners and families and that are living with us, but we do have to keep an eye on that, you know, like that are living alone and doing it a little bit tougher, I guess. So.
Yeah, and I was in that kind of category, So that's a really soft spot of my heart. I tend to care for people that are really doing it tough. I try and give back what I can and all that, and they certainly are the people that I like to help. I know one beautiful thing about my recovery is I've helped people like that along the way that's seek help. I've only been out of rehab for 3 months, and I've helped 3 people already that I've inspired in some form or another, and that really gives me good solace to sleep with at night. So yeah.
Well, I do tell you what, brother, you're a real inspiration. I can tell you that, brother.
Oh, thanks, Jack. That's real. That's a real great compliment, and I'm certainly going to love these. This is my first time. I'm certainly going to love these check-ins because I can't wait to hear other stories. I really can't.
Yeah, no, that's great, mate. And like you say, it's amazing what a story can do. What a story can do for people, and
puts a smile on your face, man. It really does.
I was talking to Jack today. I think we talked, Jack, a little bit about, you can. There's a thing called job satisfaction, but that's because you've either reached your target or you've done something that's beneficial. But when you talk to people about their lives, it's a different. It's not job satisfaction, is it? It's kind of like something that fills your heart, and I think it really. I don't know. I can't explain what it is.
Yeah, I could have all the riches in the world, mate, but I wouldn't be as happy as I am today. I am blessed to be the person I am today, and it's because of the Glen Centre, what they gave me.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And mate, I know you're from a big family, aren't you? In Dubbo.
Oh, mate, it's a massive family, not just within Dubbo, but my family spreads right around the region, and and I was always a joker in it. I was always the man, the main man, old court and all that, But I take a backward step now, and I just want to break the link in that chain that stops substance abuse with us. I want to be the positive one there now. So yeah.
I bet you. I met David as well, and I can see that he's pretty proud of you, and I would imagine.
Well, Dave was one of my big inspirations because I'm pretty sure he won't mind me saying this, but he's been clean and sober for over 10 years now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and he did it without any rehab, but he connected with his higher power, and he was always there supporting me.
Yeah.
He always supported me, and he was one of my inspirations. And I said, if he could do it, when the time comes, I know I can do it. And yeah, it was. And he's still a certainly big inspiration in my life today. Yeah.
That's right. And I think each and every one of us have got that David wives, who look out for you, check in with you, and and no matter what, they still love you. Doesn't matter what.
Yeah, that don't matter what. It's that's the beauty of a loving family. They're there for you to wipe the mud off your ass and wipe the tears out of your eyes. And I was a baby of the family, so he's done that. He's done that a lot over the years.
How many brothers and sisters you got there, bro?
I got 4 brothers. Daryl, he's 55, I'd say. Then David, he's 52. Scott, he's 50 this year. My brother Malcolm, he'd be 50 January, and me, I'm still in my 40s.
Yeah.
Good work, brother.
Yeah.
And tell me, Warren, who's the best footballer to come out of that region for you? And the blokes that you looked up to?
Oh wow, that's a really hard one. I'm gonna get a bit of flack in saying this, but I got a few cousins. There's the Reed brothers. Rick, Paul, Sump, and Russ. They were beautiful to watch. And then I had cousin called Ian Naden. He went on to play West Tigers.
Yeah.
And his first cousin, Dave O'Naden. My brothers, watching them, like they could have went anywhere, playing football.
Yeah.
But family life just kind of held them back.
Yeah.
Willie Tonga, Willie?
Yeah.
His mother's my first cousin, and she comes from Peakhill, and Willie lived there as a young fella. So out of all, I'd say Willie. You can't beat what he achieved. I just wish it was in a blue jumper.
Yeah, no, he's a good fellow, Willie.
Yeah,
working with him there up in Brisbane,
Yeah. Willie's a great cousin of mine. Yeah, and a beautiful role model.
Nice fellow to boot too. He's he talks a bit about. And he's doing a lot of stuff like you are now, and he talks about the pressures of being in the the NRL and hitting rock bottom as well. With his injuries and stuff, he couldn't. So he talks to a lot of blokes up here, up in Brisbane, up at the north part there about story, and we always say, JB and I, it's about everyone's got a story. And it's great to hear it, and I think that most of the people that come on this check-in, they bring their story with them and they share it to people, not only, everywhere, like across the world,
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'd like for you to get Willie on one time if he'd be up to it, but
yeah,
that family in itself, like they're all beautiful members. Each like yourself, each person's got their own story, and I know from where they came from and all that, their story is just as beautiful.
Yeah, because he
Well
was
said, Bill.
dad, he was a or something.
We've got a couple other people we need to give a shout out to. Renee Watts. Renee's here on the Gold Coast. G'day, Renee. Beautiful family there. Adam Wooding. Adam's one of our previous guests. I think he was our first guest, CJ.
I think he was too. And we said, why don't we get someone on? And Adam put his hand up, and he's up at Warwick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, really, g'day, Adam. We've got Nita and Stan watching. I think they're in Goondiwindi. David Street, he said, g'day, Streety. How are you, mate? You are making progress when you can find the energy to help and inspire others. So, well said, brother. We've got Lisa Hamlin watching. G'day, Lisa. And Renee Watts said, hey there. So, g'day.
Hey, Renee.
No.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, no, that's right. And, it's interesting, Warren, because we hooked up with the guys up in Hopevale. They got a men's group up.
Oh, yeah, that's Matty Bowen country.
Matty Bowen country?
Yeah.
And they were saying to us that what they do as a men's group is, they come together, but they, sometimes when men's group, you come together just to get that kind of, a relationship, build a relationship up and have a yarn and feel safe and all that sort of stuff. But they come together to help the community. So they think of what's happening in the community and say, what can we do about this, And so they'll go out fishing and bring fish back for, the whole community, or they'll go pull something and stuff like that. So
how beautiful is that?
Yeah, how good's that? But that's that stuff, see? It's all about, all of a sudden it's not about.
And there's another little chapter to that as well, CJ, because they actually got closed down for COVID-19, but they approached the council and also the police to say, listen, can we start up again before restrictions were lifted? So they were granted permission to be able to all meet together and practice that social distancing, and what an innovative way to do things, So we keep talking about these lads, and as CJ said, we had them on, and we had about 10 lads there sitting there, telling their story and telling us about what they do for community. So fantastic.
That's a beautiful thing. When you get, when you can get people back out on country and practice traditions, everyone's going to benefit. Everyone's going to benefit. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
it is. And it's not about. I think it's for them. It's not about them. It's about the community. It's about other people. I think their strength and, I suppose their inspiration from helping out people. And that's what you're doing, mate. You're helping out a lot of other fellas, especially young blokes, or even older blokes, I think it's important that your story gets shared, as much as you can. I mean,
Absolutely.
And I know you're a good speaker as well, brother, and
Oh, wow. I
yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah. 'Cause I hope so, because I was nervous out doing this, bro.
Yeah. You speak really well, brother, and you tell your story so passionately, So
Thank you.
it's something beautiful.
I was watching something on TEDx, and there was this woman was getting up, a Scottish woman. She said that it's not comparing yourself with other people who speak and whatever. You just be you, and you're the expert at yourself, and you can talk with a lot of confidence about who you are.
Exactly. There's no way in the world I could do public speaking before I went in the AA room. And when I had to get up and admit my guilt and I needed help and tell my story, mate, the weight went off my chest just like that. And then, bang, I was accepted. And now, because I've done a lot of.
Oh, he's gone.
Hey, we lost Warren.
He'll come back on whenever.
Yeah, he'll come back on. That was. But what an interesting fellow, brother. I mean, just
I knew him beforehand, and different bloke today. Same fella, but I think it's the true Warren there, and he's he's a bit of a life of the party and all that sort of stuff. But what he's done now is just amazing, and hopefully he'll come back on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got a couple more people just to say good day to. Robin Forrester said inspiration breeds positivity. Absolutely. I mean,
good leader.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've got Libby Harwood watching. G'day, Libby. She's here on the Gold Coast. We've got brother boy Grant Sarah watching. Trying to get Grant on, but he reckons he's got a good head for radio. So
we'll have a look at our melons, Grant.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Jan Hogan said, coming across really well, Warren. Thank you.
Yeah.
And speaking from the heart, best kind of speaker. I'd have to agree with that. Like a lot of people overthink things, CJ, and I think as Warren's shown tonight, just speaking from the heart and the love that comes from him telling his story, and he is so positive, So
I think there's nothing better than the story coming from the.
We've got you back on, so.
Tell Harry is. Hey, what happened, brother? You never.
I didn't pay my bill, huh?
Yeah,
we're just saying, Warren, too. Like, there's some beautiful comments coming through. Jan over in Wales said, "Coming across really well, Warren. Thank you." And she said, "Speaking from the heart, best kind of speaker." And we were just saying, that it really shows that how passionate you are about what you have done and what you are continuing to do. So yeah. Again, some beautiful comments. So, and also Robin Forrester said, "Inspiration breeds positivity." So, yeah.
But brother, obviously you said you got your bag of tools and things that you keep beside you, keep you in you, I suppose, in terms of when things go. So, like you said, you had a mentor that you rung up and had a yarn.
Yeah, and he guides me. He's I'd be lost without him. I'd be running around in the program like a chook with its head's cut off. I wouldn't know where to go, what to do. But it's a beautiful person working a beautiful program that's helping me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, we had Jay Forrester on here a little while ago.
Oh, Jay, yeah, our brother boy.
Yeah, he's doing okay too. But I remember when you went out to that campground out there
down the dam. Yeah.
Yeah, they reckon, and all the fellas got around. It was no alcohol and drugs, and it was all everyone just get up and have a sing. Wasn't it? That was a really good time.
Yeah, and it goes like this public speaking stuff. I could never do it. I had to be kicked. I'd be half charged to do it, to knock them walls down I built around myself. But down there, I didn't need none of that. I was surrounded by positive people that were just, you know, in it for the goodness of everyone else, and bang, karaoke, can't sing it. You know, I got another saying, just because I've got a head like a sewing machine don't mean I'm a singer, but I gave it a go.
I like that one. Now, tell us a little bit about the process of AA, if you can, Warren. I mean, that'd be really interesting, I think. So, just to hear a little bit about, you know, step by step. There must be a process there that to follow.
Yeah, there's a 12-step program, and I'm working it. You're always working it. You're always working it, and I'm currently up to step 5. Step 6, I just finished step 5, and step 5 is probably the hardest step to do. You got to do a written and moral inventory of any resentments you've ever had on people. You got to come clean with all your wrongdoings and all that. And mate, that was hard. That was hard.
Yeah.
For me to do it to family members, that was okay. But when I had to sit down with the woman I love and tell her my wrongdoings, that was hard. And being the powerful black woman she is, she understands that person I am today is not that person back then, and she sees a powerful positivity in me today, and loves me for who I am now. So, but that, in saying that, like, you cannot rest on not doing the steps. You start falling back, and then the old habits will start slowly come back in. But that's, you know, that's the program. What it gives me, I can't speak on every alcoholic, but what it gives me, it gives me humility, honesty. You know, it gives me positivity. I wake up in the morning, I make my bed, I say my prayers. That starts my day very, 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 very on a good note. I'm going to have challenges that'll challenge that positivity, and it's the decisions I make and how I handle that. But when I get home, I'll do the same thing, make sure the house is clean. Because if you sit around the house and the house is clean, or the yard or whatever, you're in a good mindset. If you get up and leave your bed messy and just take off and go to work or whatever, I live by myself, you know, and that's easy to do. But that'll give you the mind frame of, I don't give a shit what the day brings, you know. That's your I don't care attitude.
Yeah.
If you do that little process, it's not much. That'll kickstart the day in a positive attitude, yeah. And that's what I do.
So that's about taking responsibility for yourself, isn't it?
Exactly, ownership, man. You gotta own all your wrongdoing. You don't point the finger at no one no more. You know, you got to own your actions, your own actions. You point the finger at one person, you got 3 pointing back at you. You know,
that's right.
Little positive steps they start to build. They might seem meaningless, but it just gets you on that positive, on that positive trail for the day. But I do a bit of that of myself, and I'm always doing the gratitude stuff, mate. What am I grateful?
Oh, beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
for the people
lose the attitude and grab the gratitude. You can't beat it, brother.
Lose the attitude, grab the gratitude. There, good stuff.
Love that.
Absolutely, and I think that's I think the little things, just keep them simple, keep moving through the day. And now listen, what's Warren Towney want to be doing in the future? I mean, I know you helped a couple of young blokes, like you said, talking. So in terms of that, what do you want to keep doing that sort of stuff?
First and foremost is keeping my recovery in place.
Yep.
That's the most important thing in my life. I'd like to use my story and a few fellas that are from the region and have been through rehab, especially the Glen. The Glen tells a beautiful story, and try and get a facility based out here to
Oh,
help our people. We're in the process now of trying to lobby the government to give us some money to do that, and it's been overwhelming support on that. I know when I was in rehab, about a quarter of the clients from down there was about 40 clients. About a quarter of them was from around this region. So it's just sad, and that's just one rehab. So we don't know how many else is from the region that are placed in other rehabs around the place, because we haven't got one here, and it's sad. It's sad.
yeah, absolutely. Good luck with that venture, brother. I mean, that's amazing stuff to be weighing into. So yeah, good luck with it, brother.
Yeah. If my story helps, and I could be an advocate for it, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. I reckon it'd be great, Jack, to have when we get the men's groups going up here, to get him up and.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's. Sorry, brother. Sorry, CJ.
No, I'm sure Warren will be up for that, mate. Come up to.
Oh, brother, furthest I've been up there is Southport, so I'm all for it.
Good on you. Yeah, we've been invited up to.
Cherbourg. I've been to Cherbourg too.
Yeah, well, that's where Willie's from, eh? When they moved up here, that's where he was living. Cherbourg.
Yeah.
Noticed
Cherbourg, Mergen.
up to.
Yeah. We've got a couple other people we need to say g'day to. Chrissy Lee's watching. G'day, brother Chris. Chris is another one of our fellas that we had on. Had a really good yarn with him. Marilyn James said, "Thanks for telling us your story, Warren. Day by day is the only way to go. You are doing so well, an inspiration to us all."
Thank you very much. And it's just one day at a time. That's all it is.
And we've also got Jenny Wood. She's down in Canberra. She said, "Hello, I'm late checking in today." So g'day, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Actually doing.
I hope she's rugged up.
Yeah. Absolutely, brother. Yeah. Well, we got the fire going here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting right next to mine. I've got a jacket on. That's how cold I am.
Yeah. I'm going to be down there in Dubbo next week, brother. So.
Oh, brother, hook me up. We're going to have a coffee.
We're going to have a coffee or a ginger beer, brother.
Or a ginger beer. Just bring that warm weather with you.
Yeah. As I said to you before, it's not too warm down here at the moment, or up here at the moment.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it's bit more warmer. It's that cold here, but it'd give Eskimo the flu. So.
Yeah, I like that.
That's for sure.
So Warren, what do you do now for hobbies?
Mate, I play. I used to love me golf, but my disability kind of restricts that.
Okay.
And I've got a bad back, and I'd get out there as much as I can, but I fell in love with the sport of lawn bowls 10 years ago.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And the reason I joined lawn bowls was because of my alcoholism. I joined golf, but golf was too expensive, and I couldn't wait 9 holes to get a cold beer. So I joined lawn bowls so I could get a beer on every end, and it was just more grog and cheaper. So, but I've played. I've done pretty well at it too. I've made a bit of money over the years, and I came second in the B grade singles in the state here, which was a knockout phase all the way through. I've done all right. I just love it. It's good mind therapy for me. Just get down there by myself having a roll, and then you'll have your championships, you'll have your tournaments and all that. But I look forward to that. I also love what every black fella loves their camping and fishing and whatever. I love being out country, doing all that stuff. It's beautiful. You got no problems in the world while you sit on the riverbank with a fishing line in your hand, bud, and a fire at night. It's a beautiful, beautiful mind space.
Yeah, that's about reconnecting to country, isn't it?
It is, man. Yeah.
Grounding. That's the way we ground ourselves, and as you said, sitting on that riverbank, you know, whether it be fishing or just watching the water go past or whatever. I mean, it's just
breathing that air. There's no fumes or nothing in it. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
It's a wonderful, wonderful mind space.
And I've been watching you, bud, and I've seen you pick up the guitar as well. And
I told you, brother, just because I got a head like a sewing machine. But yeah, I read a song. I read a song down there at the Glen, and it was only a couple of weeks in, because I could feel the change happening in me. And they got a recording studio and all that there and everything available. And I just said, I need to write these words down that are coming in my head. And I just went bang, bang, bang. Within 20 minutes, I had a song, and I just put chords to it. And in the Glen, they take your phones and that off you to keep you connected, to make you stay focused. And it's a really, really good thing. So when I'm on my departure, they give me my phone back, and they shared the recording of me singing that song, and I had over 75 shares in that recording, and over 12,000 views, and it was unbelievable.
Well, you're gonna have to put it up on here, brother.
Yeah, it's oh man, my singing's not the best, but my story is being told in that song, and
we'd love to have it up on our
yeah, it's on my page, so I'll send you. I'll message you when we get off, and yeah,
that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, well, whether you're in tune or out of tune, but the words got us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what everyone says. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That the message was clear in my story, and I can't thank people enough for giving me, because it really does gives you a really good feeling when people, you know, commend you on that. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah, you know, and you know, I guess those words come out of a place that, you know, it's really, what do you call it? I don't know. It means so much. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
It does.
Yeah,
It's a special song from a special place, because it was definitely a changing moment in my life where I was feeling.
Good on you, brother.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Be good, mate. Yeah, and yeah, well, I suppose that hopefully, you know, I know you're going to do well, bro. You're going to be going really well, yeah. And
Thanks, my brother.
Yeah, I remember you sitting in the audience when I was speaking about stuff in Dubbo, but I think you're going to be up there talking about people, you know, your life and the stories and the messages you've got that you can share and make a difference in other people's lives as well. So, but brother, you know,
I'd like that. It's only, like I said, I'm only early steps in recovery, but what it's given me, I just love. I just love it. Yeah.
I remember talking to Preston Campbell, and when he was having some problems, he was saying that what got him, his medicine was actually talking about his problem.
Yeah.
You know, the more he talked, the better he felt.
And I think a lot of fellas and girls too are like that too, CJ and Warren. You know, that once they feel comfortable with being able to get their story out and tell about their, you know, their traumas and their past experiences and that sort of thing, that it really does help with that part of their healing and their recovery as well. You know, so
and a lot of it is blackfellas' mentality is pride. They don't really want to open up to people. You know, I know for myself, I used to say, "Oh, it'll be right. I'll deal with it. It'll blow over. It'll blow over." And that's just bottling it up more, putting it on the back shelf. You know, but in the end, it's just a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. No,
absolutely. Yeah. I think you're so right, brother, with what you're saying. I mean, it's just it is about you know, like sometimes we do try and hold that, you know, those things inside, but sooner or later it's got to come out. So, and the way that it does come out is normally in an explosion, isn't it? So
that's right. You know, it's like when what's that lolly they put in the Coke?
Oh, like
Mentos.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, it's all there. It's all there. All the negative thoughts and all that, and just one more thing's going to tick it off, and that's what'll happen. Just like that.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
choices, those choices we make, and
That's all it is, brother.
you know,
And that's a beauty of the program that I live for today. I surround myself with positive people. Before I didn't. The choices I made back then was for the moment stuff. You know, I put all my family problems aside and went with alcohol. You know, but today it's a different Warren. You know, it's
yeah,
choices today. They still involve around alcohol, but it's saying no to them.
yeah,
And that's such an amazing story, brother. I mean, it seriously is, and like I know it's going to inspire people. It's certainly inspiring me, brother. So I seriously think it will help others and support others in their journeys as well. You know.
Yeah, thanks, my brother. And you know, it's good when people come up and ask you, especially people that you shared the bottle with. You know, when they come up and ask you, you know, where you shared the bottle with, and then you sit down boiling the kettle and having a cup of tea with, it's beautiful. You just planted a seed in their head.
Yeah.
If they want to reach out and do that, then you know you're there for them, but they've got to do that step themselves. But
Yeah, absolutely. And we know how important, as you're saying, that planting of that seed is, isn't it? I mean, you can plant that seed and you can leave it there to start to grow.
Yeah, just to fester on, you know.
Yeah.
Just even if it's 5 minutes of their time of a night, just laying in bed, and that's what I like to think that I've done. I maybe when times are tough, he really knows that I'm there, yeah, or she, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah, and I'm sure that's the case with those people that you've helped since you've been sober. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good feeling. It's a great feeling knowing that they can break the cycle in that family because I've given them, you know, some guidance. It gives me a great feeling.
Make you feel proud, eh?
Yeah, it does. I haven't done much to succeed in life, but what I've done in the last 6 months, mate, like I said, I could have all the riches in the world, but it still wouldn't make me the happier man I am today.
Oh, that's beautiful, brother. Now we've got a couple other people that we need to say good day to. We got Wendy Brookman watching. G'day, Wendy. We've got Kevy Mound watching. G'day, Kev.
Andy.
We got Wendy said, build up of emotions combined with the outcome, mixed with the regret of choices. I've seen it with my younger brother. And then she's got a question for you, brother. She said, what was the hardest challenge you faced?
The hardest challenge I faced was coming to terms with my addiction. I was so used to living a life of alcoholism. I was too scared to know what the future was going to hold. Before I left to go down to the Glen, it took me about 8 months to get into this homeless centre. And I knew going down there I'd be losing that. So if it was going to fail, I was on the street. But I had nothing else. I had to do it. That was the biggest challenge. My challenge today is staying sober. My challenge today is walking past a pub. Like I said, it's not that I gave up the grog that day. I make that choice every day. It's right in front of my face. But I can do that with my higher power.
Yeah.
But the challenge was finally admitting that you needed help.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you too. Like, so was the biggest decision deciding to change, or was it taking responsibility?
I still didn't take responsibility until that was guided me to that area down there. I just wanted to change because I was going to change, no matter what. From that day, I'd have been dead or alive. That was a change that I was making.
Yeah.
And then the ownership and responsibility came later on down there when we started working the steps, and then I started to understand it a bit more.
But in what that is taking responsibility though, so I'd
Yeah.
have to congratulate on
Yeah.
on that as well, brother. And Wendy said, "Hi guys," and she said, "100% thanks, Warren."
Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah.
Good on you. Yeah, no, it's kind of that making that decision, and you know, I suppose it's also. I was thinking about when you were talking, mate, and I've got all these things going through my head. You know, when you're talking, I'm thinking, how good's this? And then I thought, well, you know, it's actually, you know, taking responsibility. It's understanding that there's a solution, and the solution is yourself.
That's right. Like,
Yeah,
it is, and you got to do that soul searching. You know, you got to get your spirit back, and once you start doing that, you know, you won't live in the problem. You start living in the answer,
yeah,
and that's what I'm doing. I've found all that.
Yeah, that's brilliant, brother. Seriously, I'm so happy for you, and I'm so proud of you, brother. So
Thanks, JB.
and now Wendy said, I think having men like you making these changes, the younger fellas can look to you guys for support and not be so ashamed saying no to mob. And I think that's a really good way of putting it, I suppose.
And that's a word we got to get rid of. It's been implemented in our head for generations. Is that shame word?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like saying can't. You know, you got to chuck that out. You really got to chuck that out. And we've grown up. We say, "Oh, shame job." No, we can't do this shame job, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
It's something we got to get rid of. Yeah.
Start feeling proud of ourselves, mate. We've got to start proud of ourselves.
Yeah, pat ourselves on the back, bro, and you know, give each other compliments.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, and that's the thing, brother. And like for you to come on here tonight and just tell your story, that's about celebrating what you're doing, you know, like because we always hear about the negative shit that goes on in our communities, but these are the kind of stories that we need to hear and we need to celebrate, you know. So so again, thanks for coming on and sharing.
Yeah.
And it's such an amazing story, brother. I'm so proud of you.
And I appreciate the invitation. You know, like it's been really, really good, and I'll get rejoiced in this. I'll get refreshed. I'll get fulfillment in saying this story now, and I'm reaching people that's feeling positive about it. You know, I'll get so much fulfillment out of it.
Absolutely, mate. And look, I know that I see that little thread there where they said, "Oh, you're going to record it." It's always on our page, but we also
I'll share it now. So
so we also got a YouTube page as well. So people who haven't got Facebook, they can go to YouTube and check it out. But no, mate. So what do you got planned for the rest of the week, mate?
Rest of the week, I've got to drive to Tamworth on Sunday, take a nephew back.
Yep.
So that's basically it. Staying warm, staying safe,
Good luck with that, brother.
And working the program.
Working the program, yeah, that's right. We got the footy back, so that gives us a little bit of
It's hard to be a Queensland supporter at the moment, brother.
Oh, mate, terrible teams up here at the moment. I don't know what's going on.
What do they want another Queensland team for?
Oh, they flat out with these three.
Not anymore, yeah.
Hey.
We've got Mark Williams that said, Jingaree, my brothers, Warren, you sound like you are on the right path. Reach out, no shame. Yeah,
great
and Dan Hogan said, thank you, Warren. JB and CJ, another brilliant yarn. Went too quickly today. So maybe, Warren, we can get you back on for round 2 in a little bit and see how
you're brother. All for it.
Yeah, we'd love that, brother. So again, thank you so much.
I'll be in a singlet then. So
yeah, you'll be catching up with him in Dubbo, Jack. So
yeah.
Maybe
I'll send him a number or message me on my Facebook page, bro.
I will, brother, for sure. I'd love to do that. Love to catch up and have a coffee or a ginger beer with you, brother.
Have a coffee. And Charlie, I can't wait to see you again, brother.
Yeah, no, I'm down the Gold Coast now, so you can, not that far. You've been up as far as Cherbourg, but
Yeah,
it's not that.
I got to test your food out, brother. I'm hearing a lot of good raps about it. So
Yeah, that's it, but yeah, that's it. But don't forget when you catch up with Jack, have a talk about that rehabilitation place there at Dubbo, mate.
yeah, we will, yeah.
Yeah, wealth of knowledge. And Jack, baby, what are you going to be doing the rest of the week, man?
I've got a little bit of my masters to do. We've got some more Zoom meetings and those sort of things happening. Which I can't wait to get back into community, and that happens next week. So really looking forward to that. So other than that, it's been pretty busy. So yeah. And what about yourself, CJ?
Thank goodness the border has opened between New South Wales and Queensland now. It's living
You
down
can't
here.
let those Victorians in.
No Victorians.
No, isn't that an ugly mess, And we're getting outbreaks in the pubs in Sydney now, and it's getting uglier.
Uglier, and I feel sorry for them mob down in Victoria, mate. They're all.
It's I feel sorry for a lot of people we touched on earlier, the people who can't get the services and all that.
Right. Yeah. All right, lads. Thanks for tonight. It's been fantastic, brother. So proud.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you for letting me share my story, and it's been a great moment for me. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Stay on for
good night, everyone.
Stay on, and we've got to say good night, everyone. So don't forget Friday 4:30. We're back on.
4:30. We're back on. CJ.
Yep, good stuff, mate.
Pay the internet bill, will you?
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay.